Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, I'll be talking about Prophet's Medicine, Part 2. The research question I ask is eating poison halal? And of course, the context is, in our context, is about medicine, modern medicine. And some of you know the answer, but I'll do the science of it today. The current status of Muslims is a typical social media post. It says, brothers, my son is very ill. Please make dua for him. Just on the Facebook, or it could be anywhere, but this is very typical. When we are inflicted with any disease, immediately we seek out this kind of help. And it's very common. Now we're talking about brothers. See, what is a brother? Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu has a wonderful hadith. He said, I wish I could meet my brothers. So companions wondered. He said, are you not your brothers? Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu said, you are my companions, but my brothers are those who have faith in me, yet they have never seen me. So that's brother. So you don't post to random audience and call them brothers. So how absurd is that? So it doesn't stop there. Next one, there are three prayers, three people's prayer, three types of people's prayer is readily accepted. What are they? Somebody who's wronged, somebody who's oppressed, like Muslim, prayer of a traveler, and the prayer of a father for his child. So how absurd is that we're, as a father, rather than praying ourselves, we are seeking out random people, calling them brother and asking them to make dua. So it doesn't stop there. Furthermore, when you are sick, when you visit a sick person, you should ask him for making dua. Because what? That their dua is more relaxed. How often we actually do the opposite? Oh, I'm very sick, make dua for me. No, you are the one who should make dua for everybody else. So shaitan literally has turned everything upside down. And that's the meaning of literal. It's completely preposterous, upside down in everything. Another one, my dad is in intensive care. What does it mean? The father is under full control of shaitan. Everything toxic there. And he's saying, we're taking turn in sleeping in the hospital corridor and making dua for him. Like, you're announcing to the whole world that I have submitted, I have surrendered my father in the hands of shaitan. And what is the assumption? Hospital care is 100% halal. You see the mindset? We have already assumed that it's completely halal. We never wondered, is it permissible? A famous imam in Canada said, I have diabetes. So I told him, oh, take honey. So, oh, but my doctor said honey is like poison for diabetes. And so he is famous as an imam. He lectures around the world. And he missed this Quranic verse that calls is Surah now 1669. It calls honey, see, cure for people, for mankind. Honey is the only substance mentioned in Quran that is cure for mankind. Quran being the other cure, the intangible. But tangibly, honey is the only substance. Yet, the Imam has more faith in doctor than Allah. Now, getting back to reality, this is a young mujahid, and he walks like an old man. I said, what happened? So I have been in pain. The lower back, everything's in pain. So I did the hijama. This is not his hijama, but this is how his kidney points look like, meaning really bad. So I discovered, because it's not normal for a young person to have such a bad kidney. So I discovered he drinks energy drink non-stop. He's like literally addicted to energy drink. Never wondered if it's halal or not. And then painkillers. He has a bunch of painkillers. He takes it like popcorn. And he's a mujahid. So I told him, you should avoid energy drink and medicine like they're haram. So why did I use the word haram? Because it will connect. You should not touch it. Oh my goodness, he got very furious. I did hijama on him. He did not even thank me. He did not clean the cups. And then I'm talking about him. Next day, my host tells me, oh, I said, what happened to him? So he was unhappy. What happened? He said he was surprised that you use term haram in terms of for medicine and energy drink, and you are not even alim, according to him. Meaning he's calling me an idiot for telling him avoid energy drink and medicine. And he saw my book. He knows I have written 4 books on medical science. But his iman is strictly on kufr. His iman is strictly for the West. And he's a mujahid. So I said, well, that's a pity, because I don't think he will benefit from hijama if his mindset is like that. Then the phone rings. He picks up the phone. He had some conversation. I did not understand what it was. Then I said, who was that? I said, oh, that was the guy. I said, what did he say? He was looking for his medicine. Maybe he left in my car. You see what happened? He had no qualm. He had no hesitation in taking shaitan pills. And I was wasting my time trying to ask him to Google these medicines and how toxic they are. Actually, I have 2 pictures of those. And I said, Google the name. And you find out how poisonous they are. But his faith is in West. He has zero faith in Allah. Just like the Canadian Imam we talked about. So now we ask, what is halal? Anyhow, the dogmatic answer, whatever isn't haram, right? It's very simple. You hear that all the time. If it is not haram, it's halal. But the scientific answer is much deeper than that. You know, seeking ilm, seeking knowledge is an obligation. What do you think? Because at every step, you'll be wrong. If you do not seek knowledge, at every step, you'll be wrong. You know why? Because shaitan is whispering. What do you think that Mujahid or the Canadian Imam, do you think they're stupid? No, they are listening to shaitan whisper. So they don't want to investigate. They don't want to ask the question that will lead to something that they have to work on. They take the easy path. Now, what is haram? Dogmatic answer is, if it is not explicitly prohibited in Quran or Hadith, it's halal. It's the kulla halal group. So, if pork is haram, simulated pork isn't haram, right? Because Quran has mentioned about simulated pork. It doesn't exist. It didn't exist at the time. If nudity is haram, porn isn't, because porn was not mentioned in Quran, was it? If opium is haram, why should be fentanyl be haram? Because it has no opium in it. And it's not mentioned in Quran. If poison is haram, aspartame, which is a neurotoxin, you can Google it, can be haram, right? If killing newborn is haram, abortion can be haram because nowhere in Quran mentions the word abortion. Then there is another group. This is the kulle halal, which is the most prominent. In the Arab world, they are abundant of these idiots. Kulle halal. Everything is permissible unless prohibited exclusively. With that argument, they actually say prostitution is haram, that's fine, but video sex cannot be haram because it's not mentioned anywhere. Killing women and children is haram, but nuke? No, what are you talking about? Doesn't mention anywhere nuke is haram. Pork is haram, but artificial meat, of course it's halal. What are you talking about? It doesn't have pork. So this is, and we see today how we became so stupid. Human being is a disgrace. How stupid we have become. So now let's talk about science of halal and haram. Deductive logic. This is a theory behind it, right? You don't need to do experiment to find the deductive logic. You don't need to observe anything. Allah said in 1617, the one who creates and the one who doesn't can be same. So what does it mean? And Allah is saying, why don't you remember? If you remember, you realize that from birth, from conception to death, Allah creates everything. Humans, the shaitan does not create anything at all. Only thing shaitan and shaitanic followers can create is fasad. When you make fasad, you did not create anything. If you made a plastic doll, it's not a human. If you conceive artificially, it's not your child, it's not a human. It's artificial. Only Allah creates. Anything else, anybody else claiming to be creator is liar. So if Allah's creation is all good, what is the false creator creations? All fasad. There cannot be anything good in artificial. Maybe thought, maybe even tangible, there cannot be anything good. That's the deductive logic. You don't need to experiment for this. Inductive logic, you take any artificial, talk to the people who are inventing this artificial, ask them, they will tell you in their study how toxic they are. They tell you that every plastic is breathing dioxin. You don't want to believe me? Ask them. Ask Google what is dioxin. They don't hide. Ask them to Google aspartame. What is it? It's a neurotoxin. And you believe that, oh, you can take it in your tea because Mr. Smith has said so. And you have more iman in Mr. Smith than Allah. So take any artificial, plastic is breathing dioxin, artificial light is causing cancer. They tell you, their studies tell you. Cell phone towers causing cancer, wind turbine causing havoc. You cannot find one artificial that is any good at any time. And the most important one that artificial really gets to you is Nia. What is artificial here? The intention of to please anybody than Allah. And you all know what that lands us. First hadith in book of Bukhari tells you we are judged by our intention. You made a false intention, you're accountable. Make too many of those, it lands you in hell. What does Quran say about what's permissible to consume? So this is going back to deductive logic. What are permitted? Allah doesn't leave anything on chances. This is what is scientific halal. You have to look at the root. It has to be real. And the process, it has to be real. And Allah tells you, what more do you want? Do you want me to tell you? Allah tells you in Quran, Baqarah 168. All human, ya nas, all human, eat from the earth. Number one. It has to be halal. And it has to be tayyib. And then do not follow Shaitan's footsteps. Nobody gets this. They say, oh, pork is haram, everything is halal. Who told you? Which verse? Even if it is from earth, even if it's from halal, even if it is tayyib, still it cannot be falling for the Shaitan's footsteps. That's the condition. So what are the conditions? Number one, from the earth. It has to be halal, and we discussed what the word halal is. It has to be tayyib. What is tayyib? Ask in Arab, this tayyib means tasty. You see how they changed everything. Halal means tasty to them. Do not follow Shaitan's footsteps. These are four conditions. So I summarize what is permissible, what is the permissible protocol. You have to first ask, is it from earth? All the synthetic, they are not from earth. They're molested. So if it is no, boom, it's not permissible. Call it haram or whatever you want to call it. It's not permissible. You are violating Allah's order. Only if it is from earth, then you go to yes. You ask the next question, is it halal? And what is halal? By definition, halal has two meanings. It is legitimate. It follows the legitimate process. Number two, is always good for you. Always, until the day of judgment. And if it is not, then it's not permissible. So if you find something that is good for you for 30 days, and after that you are getting backlash, that's harm right there. It doesn't matter what you're going to call it. Only if it is halal, then you go to the next question. Is it tayyib? Now, what is tayyib? Say you have milk. Everybody would agree that it's halal, right? When it's rotten, is it halal? Is it tayyib? It's still halal, but is it tayyib? No. It has to be fresh. It has to be good. In Bani Israel's time, food, meat, they had to discard after 3 days. Halal meat, after 3 days, it doesn't, for them, it becomes not tayyib. And you cannot put in a fridge and say, oh, it's from last year's Qurbani. Then you have to say, that fridge itself, is it halal system? Or you have polluted it? So, number 4, then you ask, if it is not tayyib, then boom, it becomes not permissible. If it is yes, then you go to Shaitan's, is it following Shaitan's footstep? I give you a simple example. You have chips, right? I'm assuming they're from earth and you have not polluted with toxic chemicals. So it's halal. Can you randomly eat it? Right? Can you eat randomly? You're not hungry. They have no reason to eat. You're eating like addiction. Can you eat full, tummy full? You're violating Prophet Sunnah. So you cannot follow Shaitan's footsteps. And that one everybody misses. And that's a condition. If you are, then boom, it's not permissible. Only after 4 checks, you get permissible. And that's the science of halal. So what you get, important conclusion from here, for both mass and energy. And this one surprises everybody, especially cultural Muslims. So what are you talking about, brother? What is energy, haram and halal energy? They mock you. They cannot fathom the simple thing that there is no mass, there is no energy without mass. So you have to check the same way. Is the energy coming from a mass that is halal, tayyib, or whatever? Can you have energy from pig waste? Can you burn pig waste and make fire out of it? Is it halal for you? Of course not. If that's not halal, how about electricity? Where did it come from? How about the light? Who see that? But there was this basic conclusion nobody made, because they are already married to the shaitanic science. What is the consequence if you violate it? Organized. It's called fasad. For instance, if you drink wine, the punishment is 70 lashes for whatever, right? If you manufacture wine, do you know what is the punishment? Death penalty. If you distribute, this is fasad. And what is the punishment of fasad? Death, amputation, and exile or exile. So these are major. If you follow Islam, this rule, you would not be even allowed to manufacture or import or distribute medicine. And we see that. Now, another one is very important. Following Sharia. Sharia is the backbone, the process. It has to be also true. I give an example. You want to make wuzu, right? It's an obligation before prayer. Can you change the sequence? Can you wash your feet first? Can we say, well, I'll just wash, instead of 3 times, I'll wash 6 times? Can you change the sequence when you're making wuzu? No, we can't. Can we say, instead of water, I'll be using synthetic alcohol? Many atheists actually did that. Can you even use when you have to make wuzu, and when you're sick, you have to make use dirt. Can you decide to use instead of using dirt, I'm going to use perfume? And doesn't it make more sense? I use some random cleaning. You can't. You have to stick to the strict path recommended by Allah. If you violate, the process becomes haram for you. So you have to always keep in mind that to be halal, to be true, you have to have the root, which you cannot see, and the stem and the branch, all of them, and the leaves, all of them have to be conforming to the truth condition. Or if it is true scientifically, that's called scientific halal. So let's look at some energy. We know that artificial light has an artificial source. For instance, here tungsten. And the process is also artificial. Why? Because it's not real fire. It's not real light, which would be sun. It is the excitement, metal being excited with electricity that produces that artificial light. So there's nothing halal about this. It becomes worse. Here you have gallium, right? Indium gallium nitride alloys. So you are constantly changing. You know why fluorescent lights? It has mercury vapor as the source. So those are the deductive logic. Those are the science behind it. Your ignorance is not going to help you. We know that they are artificial. And this is a conventional real light, which is sunlight spectrum. This is the one with LED. It's called white light. Do they look like they're the same? One of them created by Allah, another one created by Shaitan. But they both look white. And people are deceived. Fluorescent light, very similarly, it's skewed. You see how it's one side, is one particular frequencies making it skewed. Rather than having a nice and uniform, you have a skewed. And what does it mean? It created facade on this light. Another example here. Miswak and toothbrush. There's nothing bad in miswak. There's nothing toxic. There's nothing artificial. And there's nothing natural in the toothpaste and the toothbrush. There's nothing. So 100% real, 100% artificial. Which one do you think is haram? You cannot say on day of judgment, oh, I did not know. Isn't that seeking knowledge obligation? Did Prophet say it's mustahab, or did Prophet say it's recommended? Did Prophet say if you're an idiot, you're okay? No, for every man and woman, it's an obligation to seek knowledge. And he did not care. He just wanted to look fancy. Linus Pauling, he has 2 Nobel Prizes, one for peace and another for chemistry. He promoted that vitamin C, which is ascorbic acid, man-made, is just as good as orange or citric fruit. And he said, it will prevent, it will make you live longer. So what happened? He said, he wrote a book on the virtue of vitamin C, and his wife, he said, proclaimed that we are both taking vitamin C and we live forever. His wife got cancer and she died. So, you see how Shaitan always makes the wrong conclusion? He said, we must not be taking enough, so I'm going to double. And then he dies. In 2005, it was discovered that artificial vitamin C, which is ascorbic acid, gives you cancer, and the natural vitamin C, which is orange or lemon, they prevent cancer. This is the inductive logic. And who did that study? Shaitan themselves did. Now, another question I ask, can you use faulty science to make such determination as to what is halal? See, this is the need. This is why we have to have our own research. See examples. We know that all photons are said to be same, right? Light is a collection of photons, just like molecules are a collection of our matter. Mass is collection of molecules, and they're all the same. So that idiot, Linus Pauling, concluded and misled the world. The vitamin C happens to be the most sold chemicals, and it's poison. But today, light has become the other vitamin C. Everybody is using it. Yet the science that is used behind it is all photons are the same. Therefore, there is no difference between sunlight and artificial light. So you cannot use shaitan science to disprove shaitan. You have to use Allah's science, which is in English, Arabic, is ilm. So if you knew Quranic verse 16:17, that the creator cannot be the same as the non-creator, you would not fall for this. But your starting point was not Quran. It was from what? From whatever the doctors recommend, whatever Mr. Smith taught you, whatever your oppressors taught you. The guys who bombed you yesterday are teaching you how to live. Inductive logic, artificial light gives breast cancer, artificial light is used to torturing people. Same guys, and it's their finding. So how can you accept this to be halal? So real meaning of halal is legitimate, as I was telling you, and the source and process, and is always beneficial, always. Like this, the top one, the green one, from 0 to infinity, it is always beneficial. And that's the classic definition of sustainability. If it is sustainable only for a certain time, then it's not sustainable. It has to be extending to infinity. On the other hand, artificial, unsustainable, they are always harmful. From 0 to infinity, always harmful. And the magnitude goes up, just like any facade. Once you do a facade, the effect of facade does not go away. That's why several verses in Quran, I think 425 is one of them, where it says, you start a facade, you carry the burden of the facade, the impact of all the people who have committed the same facade, without decreasing their burden. It's a very serious offense. This is another way to look at it. There are sustainable path, the scientific halal path, and the opposite path is scientific haram. And who calls that? Even Robert Kroll, he's a Nobel laureate, he called it technological disaster. Pope himself called it's a terrorism against the entire humanity, all these technologies. So obviously, they are no more than cultural Muslims to this. To sum it up, the reference point is the Quranic verse 2:168. Then we look at the limiting. Wine, even if it is medicinal, is forbidden. Prophet called it medicinal wine. We're talking about something that's considered to be very good today. He called that a disease. Quran 2:119 calls Khamr, wine, it was organic wine, as something that has good and bad both, but more bad. And 590 is telling it is banned. See the point? Wine, even organic wine, by the way, even if it has good and bad, because it has more bad, therefore it is haram. This has been from deductive logic from Quran. Now, with hundreds of studies were published in last 100 years, they were all saying that it has something good. One glass a day of red wine is actually good for your heart. All kind of. Only recently it has discovered it's terrible. It has nothing good in it, meaning the net of wine is negative. That's from inductive logic, from studies. See, if wine is haram, what happens to non-organic grape wine? We call that HSSA degradation. You can check out the other videos. It's honey, sugar, saccharin, aspartame degradation. So degradation, which was inspired by Shaitan, made the new one non-organic grape wine. So that's one stage of it. So it has more worse, more bad than good, even more than organic wine. Then spirit, even worse. Then synthetic ones. And ask any mullah, they will tell you, oh, synthetic is halal. Of course, it doesn't have wine. You see how it happened? Yet the worst one, very worst one, is pharmaceutical drugs. This is the science. And it's all over. You can check it out. Same with opium or hashish. Worst version is cocaine. Even worse is fentanyl, which does not have any natural substance as a source. Even worse than fentanyl is your pharmaceutical drugs. Google, put any name of medicine and Google, and you find out yourself in any language how they're made. And you tally with what Allah ordered you. Allah has given you the standard. Use that standard and say, if wine, organic wine is haram, what is this? Man, this is far worse. And you cannot even give the excuse that, oh, I'm sick, therefore I'm taking it. Prophet told you even medicinal wine is haram. Another hadith says that you don't have to seek haram for cure because there is something halal that has the cure also. So where did it come from? Shaitan promised in 4:119, try to memorize this number, 4:119. Shaitan promised that I will delude them. First, I'll mislead, create dalala. Second, I will create empty hope. Then I order them to slit the ears of cattle and alter Allah's creation, number 4. So here I list the 4 things that Shaitan promised. Create dalala is cognitive dissonance. Instill lust for what? Money, sex, and control. That's next. Then he will order us. It's done. You mutilate animals. All this antibiotic, hormone, everything we're doing. Number 4, and we're at stage 4 today, all natural traits would be changed, everything. All the natural traits. So Quran has exactly opposite. Shaitan tells you one, Quran tells you completely different. So what is Quran's solution? Allah's solution, Quran is the cure of the heart. This is another example. And music is the disease. Look at modern scientific studies. They say, well, Music does the same thing. Actually, they will tell you that music is very good for autistic children and all these things. They start conflating truth with falsehood. Remember, first one was dalala, made you stupid. Shaitan made you stupid, that's why you cannot see. That's the number one attack. Created dalala. And he promised, he knows. He knows much better than we do today. So how do you avert this satanic propaganda? Gujarat 6, verse 6, it says, when a fasik brings you any news, you have to verify. Why? Because you might harm people unknowingly. So when the doctor, and who is fasik, it's not very difficult. You don't have to know them. You can just Google. These people have been lying, have been wrong about everything. You cannot have one thing they were correct. They're like shaitan. Even when they mention something that is true statement, shaitan is still a liar. And why is that? Because his intention is not good. Then tell me one medicine that has a good intention in it. Zero. All of them coming from shaitan. So what do you do when shaitan comes to you? Another shaitan comes to you, shaitan agent, tells you that this is good for you. You verify, because who told it? It's order from Allah. You verify before consuming it. So that shaitanic agent can be your imam, it can be your teacher, can be your doctor. You have to know this. Final advice: identify whenever there's a problem. Why is there a problem? Right? Somebody has a headache, so immediately say, what is the recommendation? Look for natural remedy. It's not very difficult. Actually, Google any disease, and people have done a lot of work. But for you as Muslim, you should first remember is the dua. Start with dua, then honey, then hijama and black seed. This is for short term. People say, well, hijama is for long term. No, what happened when Prophet was poisoned? Immediately he recommended hijama. So don't listen to shaitan. These are there for you. Immediately you have a headache, make dua and take some honey. These are not jokes. So if the problem is long-term, somebody has been suffering with back pain or whatever disease, heart problem, whatever, long-term, you take a picture of the tongue and compare with the picture of the tongue here. And it tells you this is the standard of good tongue. You see the different regions, liver, spleen, liver, heart, lung. So if you see cracks or something different from this, or too pale or too dark, you know there is a problem there. It's not very difficult. So what you do, all you do is place hijama behind those organs. Anybody can detect. Or if not, just Google where is the place of the kidney or place of the spleen or lung or heart. And place on top of that, on kahil point, this is sunnah point, or do 14 in Chinese medicine term, place another hijama cup there. And that's all. But most importantly, right after hijama, why do I say right after? Because before hijama, you ask people to discontinue their addiction. It could be energy drink, it could be drugs or certain bad food. whoever, whatever, even light, people are becoming addicted to the toxic light. You do not do that. Do the hijama first. Then he said, no more energy drink, no more artificial drink, no more artificial food, no more pharmaceutical drug. Stop right there. Because you have made dua, Allah will help you. So you would not be freaking out like a crazy person who is craving for fentanyl or some other drug. Okay, that would be it today.